What's going on, guys? JivanTV back with another video. One of the biggest questions I get asked on stream is how I stay motivated to grind arena, especially during the later season, or just when you get to champs. And there's so many ways to do it. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what I'm going to be doing now that I'm in champs, and I'm actually so pumped to be grinding some arena. Before we hop into this video, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So one of the biggest ways I'm able to stay motivated is just because I'm making content. Anytime I'm playing arena, I'm trying to get content for YouTube videos. That's the general way for me, but a lot of people, they just play the game for fun and they're just looking for ways to enjoy the game without having to make content, without having to stream. And so this is one of the most fun ways I have found to make arena enjoyable. So something I'm doing before every single game sesh is thinking of a certain move or finding a move on YouTube that I really want to learn or just hit a clip with, and then I'll go into that arena session with the one goal of doing that move successfully at least one time. This is one of the most fun things to do in arena. It'll make arena more enjoyable, it'll give you a goal while you're playing the game, and on top of that, learning new moves that are really advanced, just trying to hit it at least once in an arena session is such a good way to improve. It helps you learn more about reading the opponents, when certain moves are available to be done in the game. Like certain high ground retakes, they're only situational. So if you go into an arena session just trying to hit that one high ground retake successfully on a player, you can learn a lot from that. So you're going to be seeing me do lots of arena sessions soon and making a lot of YouTube videos on certain build fight moves or box fight moves that I want to learn and then trying to hit it successfully on stream. That's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is the same idea. Go into each arena session trying to improve a certain part of your mentality. Whether it be trying to take more fights, trying to stay more positive, trying to rotate earlier, whatever it is, try to pick a certain aspect of your game that you want to improve on and go into the battle bus trying to improve that. Falls in the same category as trying to learn a new play. By the way, one thing I should note about learning build fight moves is that you want to practice those in creative first. Try to build the reflex of it in creative, try to get the fundamentals of it down, that way you're not completely clueless when hopping into arena. That is very important, I forgot to mention that. Another thing that I'm going to be trying to do now that I'm in champs to see the most improvement possible is picking a certain part of my game that's been lacking recently, whether it be editing, building, or aiming. I'm going to try to pick one of those and do new practice routines for those things each week. I find it really useful to practice one thing for an entire week straight. I mean, you can do more than one thing, like you could practice your aiming and building if both of those are lacking, but practicing one routine for an entire week can help you see improvements. And if you feel by the end of that week it hasn't really improved too much, maybe go into the next week with the same routine. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I've been running that 200 pump Turtle Wars map that Panville made. I'm going to keep up grinding that map, but I'm going to try to mix it up and add some new things to my practice routine. Another thing that I'm going to be doing that's really fun now that I'm in champs, and it'll help you improve so much. If you want to do this, definitely do it. I recommend it big time. You can try studying a certain pro player and try picking out some of the things that they do, and each arena session for that week, try applying one thing from their gameplay to yours. Each time you're on the battle bus, think about that thing you're trying to apply, and after like maybe 3 hours of grinding that one thing from that pro player, you might have it down, or at least you might have learned from it. That's a really fun thing to do, and it helps you get ahead of the meta. Things to look for in pro gameplay is like certain build fight moves or box fight moves that they do that you haven't seen before. Picking out things like that can help you get ahead of the fighting meta. But you can also look for certain rotational techniques. If they're grinding arena and that's what you're studying from them, maybe you'll see that they're rotating towards hot side of zone, or maybe you'll see them rotating towards dead side of zone. You can try to pick out things like that, or things like when they disengage from fights, how they handle losing games, how they handle tough situations, stuff like that. But one of the biggest ways to improve is studying their tournament gameplay, trying to pick out rotational techniques they use in late game. Lots of stuff to learn from watching really good solo Cash Cup players or even trios. A really good thing you can do to improve with your teammates is try to pick out a team chemistry thing that you can improve on each time you grind arena. I know from personal experience, a lot of times when you go into arena with teammates, it's like, you're just grinding it. You're not really trying to improve much. You're just trying to improve from playing a lot. But if you pick out little things like trying to do duo piece control, I made a video on that back in the day. If you pick out little things like that, or trying to improve communication at certain parts in the game, during fights, setting up different angles as a team, making certain arena sessions about stuff like that can really help you improve. I'm definitely going to be grinding a little more duo arena with PB, Cole, Lixa, and Ken Beans, maybe some other people too. And I really want to try to get duo piece control down with a lot of them. If you don't know what duo piece control is, it's basically where one person sprays at a wall while the other person holds the wall and edits the wall. That way you have a better chance of taking the wall and you can keep pressure on the enemies. I have a really good video on that with a practice map that I definitely recommend practicing if you aren't familiar with that concept. It's literally one of the most important W key concepts in the game, and if you're not practicing that with your teammates, you're falling behind meta. Another thing that's insane for improving as a solo, which I'm going to be trying to do more of, I've been sleeping on it, is 1v1ing a lot of people from scrim discords, which I say a lot, but I don't do a lot. If you want to get really good at fighting, that's one of the best ways to do it because you can learn a lot of different people's playstyles. You can find a lot of players that are better than you. Almost every time I go into those scrim discords, I fight cracked players that are honestly better than me. And yeah, I learn a lot from those fights, and it's just really good for keeping your mechanics up to speed. And that can be a fun thing to do if you're trying to improve or if you're trying to find teammates. That's one of the best ways to find teammates is if you find a person that you're 1v1ing that's around your skill level. It's really good to ask them if they want to run arena. A lot of times they're going to say no because, most people already have the people that they play with and they're not looking for other people to play with, but it's always worth asking if you're looking for teammates. But yeah, doing those 1v1s is a great way to practice new fighting techniques that you've been practicing, but you haven't had a chance to do it under pressure. Doing it in those 1v1s can be a really good way to improve on those. If you try to do it straight into arena like I do, it's going to be a lot more frustrating because you're kind of learning it with no experience and losing those arena points can be annoying. So doing it in 1v1s first is a really good way to learn new techniques before going into arena. And then last thing I want to talk about, which I mentioned at the start of the video, content is one of the best ways to be motivated to play. I've been doing this since I was 12. Any game that I would play, I would try to think of ways that I could make cool content with because I really wanted to be a YouTuber one day. And so one of the best ways to start out content if you don't have much experience is sit down, try to brainstorm some cool ideas that other people haven't done, and then make little TikToks on those. TikTok is a really good way to just ease your way into content because one, you can learn about what people actually want to see. If you have a TikTok that does really well, then maybe you'll consider making it into a YouTube series or just making more TikToks like the one you made. Anytime you have a post do well, you want to think, what made that post different than my other ones? But yeah, TikTok was one of the best ways to find my content style. I had been making content for so long, and then when I got on TikTok, saw some of my posts doing well, made YouTube videos that were kind of similar to my TikToks, that's when my YouTube started to grow. But yeah guys, hopefully you learned something in this video or just enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, use code JivanTV in the item shop, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.